Hello, Virgo. It is your turn. We're going to talk about July, the remaining of July, and what's going on in your life, what you have to look forward to, some of the things that you've possibly dealt with recently, and how to move forward. So, without further ado, let's begin. Death, Two of Swords, financial independence, backstabbing, juggling, the Knight of Cups, happiness, and waiting for your harvest to come in. Now, I have to be honest with you guys. I did a couple readings prior to this one. I always observe my work prior to uploading, and I really wasn't content with those readings. But I do believe that this reading will be articulated exactly the way it needs to be. But I will give you a little bit of a recap because you're pulling a lot of the same cards and a lot of the same energy and kind of like a lot of the same vibe. And the last readings that I did basically pertained to some people, some of you Virgo, like being in love and wanting to be paired up with someone who really and truly, to be honest with you, does not love you for you, but they love you for what you have to offer. Okay? And that is why this card is sticking out very much to me, because this card represents financial independence. And so when you see this card really means that this card is warning you that you have two intellectual choices to make that don't have anything to do with your heart, that don't have anything to do with you see or what you don't see, but everything to do with your logic. You need to make a logical decision to decide to be financially independent, because being paired up in a relationship is going to result in this at this time. The other readings basically screamed that a lot of you are in relationships with people who are with you because of what they get out of you, not because they're actually willing to like live in a cardboard box with you if they had to, because they love you like that. So financial independence is something that you need to focus on, because that's where your true happiness is going to come in, and that's when you're going to see your harvest come in. Because trying to couple up with somebody is going to end in betrayal. That's what this means. You have two logical decisions to make. And usually when this card comes up, and then like when you look at the columns, you can see the theme that's going on here. You know what I'm saying? I can see the theme, and so I will show you what the theme is. The decision that you have to make is that you have to put on stronger armor with regards to love. Cups represent love. The Knight of Cups represents an individual. It's a court card who gives messages of love. This is you giving a message of love to somebody that you may be interested in, someone that you may like for whatever reason. But see, I like this particular reading more because this reading shows me that that's exactly what you're going to do. And you're going to take the advice that Spirit just gave you, which is to focus on your financial independence and not try to juggle a relationship with somebody that you don't feel too 100% about right now. And even though the cards are not showing that yet, because I haven't pulled clarifiers, I'm just recapping the cards that came up before. The message is still the same. It's just now, how do I relay the message based on the order in which a new set of cards have come in? I see the same story. What needs to die is your inability to use this armor. Okay? Because some of you are not using this armor. Some of you are acting like the Page of Cups rather than the Knight of Cups. The Page of Cups is the youngest individual of the court cards. And in the last reading that I did for you, you pulled a lot of Page Cups, a lot of Page cards regarding cups, which means that there wasn't a whole lot of, I'm going to really pay attention to your virtue, and I'm really going to pay attention to your qualities to determine if I want to share my life with you, if I want to share my funds with you. This means funds. This means funds. This means love. This means love. This means intellect. This means intellect. This means funds. And this is your major arcana that dominates each one of these minor arcanas and even this court card to help you understand what needs to die. What needs to die is making decisions with regards to love that don't assist you in your own financial independence. We all need to experience a certain amount of financial independence. It attracts a partner that is also financially independent. Because you did the work to become financially independent, naturally you should be attracting other people that are financially independent when it comes to relationships. But I feel as though some of you Virgo are not in those types of relationships. Some of you Virgo are in relationships with people who are betraying you and who are in relationships with you because your harvest did come in and they want a piece of it. They're opportunist. Okay? And when you try to juggle being in a relationship with someone like that, let me take this sweater off. It's a distraction. One moment. When you try to juggle being in relationships with someone who has this backstabby type quality about them that you can't quite put your finger on, you know what I'm saying? When you're trying to juggle that, what it can do is it can affect your finances. Why? Because you're worried about this relationship and maintaining your financial security, your financial independence. And so logically, you have to be a lot more careful with who you give your messages of love to. So what needs to die is your inabilities at times to make sure that whoever you choose to give your message of love to has the same qualities and characteristics as you, or similar, has kind of like the same goals that you have, so that you don't fall into these types of pitfalls. See, allowing relationships like this to die, that's what this is saying. Let these types of situations die. Let the decisions that are not conducive to where you're trying to go die, so that you can maintain your financial independence. Juggle only what is necessary. Sometimes some of us want to be paired up in relationships, and now is not the time. Now is the time for you to put your armor on and start to actually learn how to love yourself and give yourself an opportunity to show yourself what you're made out of and become as financially independent as you want to, because that's going to make you happy, not only because of the money, but because of the achievement in and of itself, and because you have proven to yourself that you know how to create a harvest anytime you want to. Now that's just a recap of the last readings that I've done for you. But I see the same story here. I see that if you pair up in a relationship, you're going to end up dealing with somebody who's going to backstab you, who's going to betray you. This card has been coming up in everybody's zodiac reading. And there's a reason for this. Because now is a greater time, is like the greatest time than ever to make sure that you set boundaries with people. Because the behavior that people display right now, people are making like decisions right now. Pivotal decisions as to who they're going to be. Are they going to be opportunists, or are they going to be people who are actually willing to put the work in for themselves and be virtuous individuals? I'm quite sure that all of you would pick virtue over just freestyling it and then thinking that $1 million check is going to show up in your mailbox. So with regards to this death, I see exactly what needs to die. Choices that result in you losing your financial independence and in being backstabbed because you want to be paired up in a love relationship that really becomes a juggle because you have to put all of your effort and energy into trying to maintain enough income so you can make yourself independent and also make this other person happy, because this other person is not the type of person, like I said, that would go live in a cardboard box with you because they actually really love you. Not saying that that's what's going to happen in any way, shape, or form. It's just a metaphor. This card is very important because it's saying that you are the Knight of Cups. Keep your armor on and make sure that you keep your eyes peeled for the right type of people in your life to love and the right type of people to give your attention to. Keep your eyes peeled for people who have no business in your life. I don't care how cute they are. I don't care what you think, if they have one or two good qualities or whatever, but there's just something that's like you can't put your finger on it. But this is what you can't put your finger on. The fact that they will leave you hanging in a heartbeat. And see, Virgo, right now, you guys, not just Virgo, every zodiac sign, the doors are being opened for everybody right now. Why? The doors are being opened for everybody because the divine wants to see how everybody responds to their newfound blessings. If you get the 10 of Pentacles, if you get the 9 of Pentacles, if you get all the money in the world that you think that you want, or that you think that you need, or that you might want, or that you might need, are you still going to be virtuous? Are you still going to be the same person? Are you still going to be working on your spirituality? Are you still going to be doing the soul searching that you're doing now? The divine also wants to know, how are you going to respond when it comes to people who mistreat you? Are you going to trust that the universe is going to make sure that whoever leaves this type of baggage behind has to actually carry this baggage? Or are you going to make sure that you just stay away from people like this and you just kind of like walk away? Or are you going to retaliate? And when it comes to your harvest coming in, are you going to make this number higher than a 7 and turn it into a 10? Because this represents like I planted my seeds and I'm waiting, and now my harvest is coming. And am I happy with the results? So do you think that you would be happy with the results if you chose to fall in love with somebody who at the end of the day would leave you totally hanging? Because what's going to make you happy is you realizing that you are very capable of becoming financially independent by yourself. You don't need to be paired up at this time. Some of you, Virgo, are paired up. This is a singles reading right here. to close out the singles reading, you want a happy family. Some of you are just at that age, you know what I mean? Where it's like, I want a happy family. I want my finances to be the way that they're supposed to be. I'm just at that age where there are just certain things in my life I just feel should be here. And I feel as though I've done everything that I'm supposed to do to be able to have these things. But for some reason, these things are not happening for me. So now I'm starting to kind of lower my standards. And then what happens is people like this creep in the door. And these are the things that you experience. But see, when it comes to family matters, I notice that you guys end up having to move on a regular basis. This means move on. Move on from trying to be coupled up right now, because it's all about you and learning about you and what you're capable of when it comes to independence and when it comes to taking care of your own livelihood. It's going to make you happy, not just the money itself, but the fact that you actually went out, took the initiative to do something for yourself, made it happen, and then filled up your bank account, checking and savings. You know what I'm saying? And you don't need to juggle a relationship right now. What you need to do is move on from the thought process that you feel as though there's like some time clock that you have to punch in order to be in a relationship. Like, it's totally cool if you're 40 years old and you're single right now. That's okay. Because that means that you haven't found the right one yet, because there are other lessons that you've been learning in the meantime. Because right now, Virgo, I'm talking to the Virgo who, when it comes to love, a lot of you are the Page of Cups rather than the Knight of Cups. You don't have your armor on. You're giving messages of love to people who would do things like this because of your innocence. The Page of Cups represents a messenger, more like a youth, a child, that gives messages of love. And see, children have a lot to learn, right? And so when it comes to love, we would rather see the Knight of Cups energy rather than the Page of Cups energy, because the Page of Cups energy leaves a lot of room for error, because there's a lot of innocence there and a lot of experience that still needs to be had in order for you to be able to know who deserves your time, love, and attention. This is your energy. This is your energy too, but it's up to you to decide. Are you going to be the Page of Cups or the Knight of Cups? The Knight of Cups is more mature, more meticulous about what love partners they choose. The Page of Cups has a lot more to learn and may open the door to someone who will turn around and do something that feels like that. Virgo, some of you, your hearts are broken because it's already happened. So I'm going to pull a clarifier on this card. This card means several things to me, but given that the Three of Swords was pulled, this card means to me, you have people in your life that love you. Get together with your friends to work on building whatever it is you need to build within yourself so that you don't allow this type of stuff in your life. This is for Virgo singles. Okay? I don't want to go over time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another reading, and hopefully this will be for Virgo couples, and we will also be talking about finance. So this reading may very well go into 30 minutes. And for those of you interested in a private reading because this message resonated with you and you feel as though you want more clarity, my information is down below. So now we're going to talk about Virgo career, okay? This last reading that I just did definitely showed that the door is open for your finances. However, one thing that may hinder your financial independence is trying to juggle a relationship right now. So that was for singles. So now let's talk about career in general. Some of you are working your butts off. This is the apprentice card, to try to be the best that you can actually be in your field of study, okay? However, some of you are being distracted by a loss. I would like to know what this loss is. Okay. Some of you are working your butts off to be the best at what it is that you do to make a living. However, some of you I see have just recently made a decision to let go of some enslaved behavior. Now, kudos to you, because I'm going to tell you right now, yes, that will make you feel like mourning and crying, because sometimes this ominous figure will make you think that you need a certain lifestyle to be happy, when really all it does is take away from you. And I feel as though some of you have realized, hey, you're taking away from me, later for you, you're mourning it, and it's kind of like affecting your ability to focus on, being the best at whatever it is that you are. Or this card means that this is what you're engulfing yourself in so that you can keep your mind off of this. One or the other. You know what it is. It will resonate with you, whichever way it turns. The Hierophant. This card continues to pop up for you guys. This card represents just somebody that's going to just help remind you of what the traditional beliefs are according to your culture, according to your beliefs and things of that nature. So some of you, who feel like you need to make a confessional, or some of you who feel as though, you need higher education. This also means higher education. Seek higher education. Go back to school. For some of you, this means, talk to somebody who's wiser than you are to help you, you know what I'm saying, keep your mind right so that you can continue to, focus on your livelihood and not let situations like this, distract you from what you're trying to do so that you can build what you want to build to become financially independent. The Queen of Cups represents a mother. So I feel as though you're being urged, those of you who this resonated with, you're being urged to lean on the support of whomever it is that that is the most loving person that because I'm telling you right now, they're going to help support you through this difficult time right here. Okay, because some of you were engaged either with someone who had enslaved behavior and it distracted your work, or you were engaged in enslaved behavior and it distracted your work. And now you kind of need to get back in line, with your regular beliefs and your true beliefs. This could mean therapy too, but you're being told that there's somebody who really loves you that you can rely on, that will offer you comfort. So don't close the door to that, because this, I think, is going to be key toward knowing what you're worth and your value. This person's going to remind you on a daily basis, because only hurt people engage in behavior that comes with shackles. Okay? And I understand that all too well. Go look at the Gemini reading. I said that 1,000 times. This used to come up in my spread every day. So, it's time to be the Queen of Swords, and this goes for males too. It's time for you guys to kind of be on your own ass in a way. It's time for some of you to actually really use your intellect when it comes to staying in line and making sure that you maintain your livelihood, because it's going to lead you straight to financial independence, which is what we determined in this deck right here. Even though this was for singles, this still applies to Virgo. And so financial independence is yours. It's what the divine wants to give you. But I see that some of you career-wise just hit a little speed bump. And like all you have to do is police yourself with regards to whatever this is. And I think that that's all it's going to take in order for you to be able to accomplish what you need to accomplish with this apprentice card. Okay? You will no longer be an apprentice very long. You're working. You're working hard at being the best that you can be, Virgo. Now, for Virgo in relationships, let's see how things are going. Okay. Now, this card means multiple things, and if you give me just a second, let me and Spirit talk so that we can make a final decision as to what this means. I feel as though something happened with communication between a husband and wife or Virgo couple. Something happened quickly with regards to communication, and it caused one of you to kind of take your distance and kind of separate. And now you're using like your Page of Wands energy, which means like, what am I going to do to rectify the situation? Spirit guides and angels, can you please give me a little bit more information regarding this so that this can resonate with them exactly the way it needs to give them the comfort that they need? Yeah, somebody separated. They didn't end the relationship, but they separated. They separated themselves from the other party. And what they're doing is they're looking at themselves. And some of you, Virgo, it's either you or your partner have taken time away so that you can take some inventory on yourself, get rid of the baggage that you need to get rid of so that you can come back into the relationship full, fresh, and ready to go. Or that's why your partner took a break so that they can come back cool, fresh, and ready to go. Okay? When it comes to this communication, we are talking about lovers, and those of you in relationships, that's clear. And guess what? This relationship is worth saving. So even though some of you, Virgo, feel like you're in a relationship and you don't know how it's going to turn out, what I see is that it's going to turn out fine. So this person who took time to themselves, they didn't do it maliciously. They did it to make sure that when they come back fresh and new for you. When it comes to basically asking yourself, like, what am I going to do? Here's what you do in the meantime. For those of you who are at home while somebody else took time to themselves to do some introspection. Introspection means separating yourself from everyone so that all you have is you, yourself, and you can take inventory on yourself so that you know what has to go and what can stay so that you can be the best you that you can be. So those of you who were left behind because the other party went and separated themselves for a little while, what you do is you work on your emotional stability skills, okay? Continue to be emotionally stable, because that's really important in this particular relationship. And so that we don't go over time, I'm going to finish up. And if any of this resonated, I ask that you hit like, subscribe, leave your comments. And if you're interested in a private reading, my information is below. Please understand the way that you respond to your partner taking time to themselves determines the way this wheel spins, okay? So be on the up and up and give this person their space, because they're not doing it maliciously. They're doing it so they can come back fresh and new for you. Until next time.